John Gaffney, Patrick Evans, KB Burdette. Excellent crew. We get it started. In the East region, Providence controls the tip. Providence 22nd NCAA tournament, back-to-back for the Friars. Lost in the Sweet 16 to Kansas, the eventual champion last year. Wins over South Dakota State and Richmond.
Yeah, they're a hard-nosed team, the Friars are. Nice set down low for the post-up.
Croswell gets the scoring started.
They'll take a little time off the clock offensively to run their sets. Everybody touches the basketball. Very unselfish basketball team.
It was a monumental upset to a 15 seed last year. 85-79. St. Peter's beat Kentucky in overtime.
Here's the initial touch for Oscar.
Shibwe high off the window, and the rebound is snatched by big Ed Croswell. Working around the perimeter. Bynum, native of Largo, Maryland. Carter gets a touch. And now it's Croswell out front.
Second set, down under 10 seconds right now.
Hopkins, the spin against his friend Toppin. The jumper, rimming, no. And the ball got knocked over to Shibwe. Good help by Chris Livingston.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hopkins get a good shot off like that to make sure he doesn't take a pressing type shot to try to do too much against his former team.
Kentucky opened the season number 4 in the country. They dropped out of the top 25 in early January. Doesn't go for Wallace, but he does draw the foul, and the talented freshman from Dallas, Texas, will head to the line. Well, John Calipari's team started 8-3, but then opened SEC play 1-3. Finished the season, though, 11-4, and that's where they built up some confidence. And that's part of the reason why they're a bit of a mystery. They're certainly talented enough. The question is, will they be cohesive on this stage?
Yeah, 6 weeks ago, there was a lot of question marks. Preseason number 4, though, on that graphic is kind of interesting for Calipari's team.
Number 2 in three-point shooting, the SEC. They just don't take a whole lot of them. Second fewest attempted in the conference. But some late season momentum. They won 6 of 7 to end the regular season to give them some hope. There was a point during the season where we weren't sure if they would be in the NCAA tournament. They quickly answered those questions as they began to turn things around in February.
Yeah, you're correct about their limited threes, though. They take about 18 attempts per game. And
Noah Locke transferred from Louisville, went to Florida prior to that, and a turnover scooped up by Wallace. Ahead for Toppin.
Good recovery, though, defensively.
Bynum tried to step in there. Wallace protects it. Reeves gives it up. 2 minutes gone by in this first half.
Yeah, a lot of their wing players in Kentucky can handle the basketball. They put it on the floor with a little bit of purpose.
Wallace crosses over, lunging towards the rim, and it's rebounded by Croswell.
They're keeping Shibwe off that offensive glass where he's very good.
Pulls it back. Bynum misses from downtown. A 28% shooter from deep. So a lot of two-point attempts. The three-point attempts, a different story. Shibwe on a kick for Toppin. He's improved in his senior season.
They're averaging just under 13.
The turnaround, no. Shibwe's a vacuum cleaner. Nice look. Toppin switching hands. And the first field goal of the night for Kentucky.
Yeah, Shibwe that time got position on Croswell and Croswell could not react quick enough. He stayed away from the fouling opportunity. This is some matchup with those two guys under the basket, the post-ups.
Friars finished 4th in the Big East behind Marquette, Xavier, and Creighton. But they averaged 78 points per game. And it's out of bounds. Croswell tried to save it.
So here's the work on the left side of the floor in terms of getting at that opportunity for a second shot. And then Toppin just kind of hangs around waiting for a little drop pass.
Clifton Moore checks in, replacing Ed Croswell. Moore's a shot blocker, about 1.2 per game. Transfer from LaSalle. Before that, he attended Indiana. 3-2 lead for Kentucky. Wallace, the McDonald's All-American.
Nice.
Oh, the step in and steal. Carter takes it in for the flush.
Terrific defensive player. just anticipates the passing lanes and pushed that ball right out in front of him.
He transferred from South Carolina. His 1 year with the Gamecocks, he averaged 9 points per game. He's up to 13 points per game for Providence. Short on the jump shot. Wallace, he's been struggling with his three. That's a deep one. Reeves, the rainbow jumper doesn't go. Shibwe clearing out space for the board. Toppin on a dump down. Livingston can't get it to go off the window. Shibwe battling. Ball on the floor. Shibwe's got it. Can't finish. Rebound, Toppin off his foot. Early action here in Greensboro.
And there were 3 rebounds that Shibwe just got, and there were people in front of him almost boxing him out. Look, there's pretty good opportunity there. He beats 2 Providence Friars to the basketball, continues to go after it. He just relentless on the glass at both ends.
He's got 6 rebounds already. He's on pace for 50.
Nice, I love it. Hope the shooting is a little better.
Here's Bynum. Tried to circle it on Wallace. Carter lines it up. Short.
Yeah, I knew that was bad.
And Bynum understood the angle. He got right to the area. Working around the perimeter. The jumper doesn't go for Locke.
Rebound 2.
Shibwe.
Thank you.
Number 7.
Amazing how often he's gotten his hands on the ball already.
He's averaging 13 per game. Reeves, the transfer from Illinois State. What a jolt he's given this Kentucky team. And it's taken away. Bynum, leak out. Carter, big time flush.
You know, he gets the breakaway, right? But there's more to it than just running the floor. You anticipate when your guy comes up, your teammate gets a steal, and you immediately start to lean to half court. Sometimes it's a race to half court. And once you win that race, it's all over.
Screen set by Toppin, and now he's got it in the mismatch against Bynum. Toppin takes it in. Jacob Toppin, 6'9", 205, transfer from Rhode Island.
Yeah, versus a 5'10" guy in Bynum. So a good decision to stay with that and force the action.
6-5 lead for Providence. Toppin comes in averaging 12.5 points per game, 7 boards. Moving without the ball, Locke. Step back, Jay is short. Rebound. Moore got his hand on it, could not squeeze it. Here's Wallace pushing the pace. Little stop and go, he drags towards the rim, and a foul is called.
I was going to say, make some good decisions if you're Wallace. Young freshman with the ball. And here they come. Watch, he leads right to half court. And once you get to half court, your guys behind you should be no problem usually.
Purdue FDU going at it right now. This is also from the East Region, Kentucky and Providence. Friars up by 1, but now tied up after the Wallace free throw. Watch live men's games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Scan the QR code right now to download.
And obviously you always want to see the ball go in the basket as he picks up another 5th offensive rebound.
Shibwe gets it to go. He massaged it up and in.
So you want to see scoring and passing and everything, but these two teams are so good at rebounding, it's going to be fun to watch them rebound against each other.
Kentucky enters action. They are a plus 8.8 on the boards. Providence is plus 6.4.
Exactly.
8-6 lead for Kentucky. Shibwe's already got 8 boards, his first bucket of the day. Bryce Hopkins gives it up, gets it back. Hopkins lines it up. Wow, same team, Livingston and Shibwe, and Providence comes away with it. Carter couldn't secure it, and now Kentucky's on the move. And Hopkins, he tried to dig in defensively, reaching in on Wallace. He'll pick up the foul. That's his first.
A lot of bumping in early on, a little trip right there, but these teams, when they're hitting the glass, watch him take the offensive position and goes right after it and then finishes it off. Long extension, not only for rebounding, but getting his shot off in traffic.
Change here for Kentucky. C.J. Frederick, the transfer from Iowa. He's dealt with injuries this season. He's now in there, averaging 6.5 points per game. He is a threat from long range, although he hasn't shot it that well this season.
Here's the zone look. There's the mismatch down low that they recognize. Oh.
It's offensive. Shibwe trying to establish position, and Bynum took the hit.
Yeah, Bynum had to go a long way to get close to him down low just then. I don't think Shibwe had to do this. Watch at the very end here. He's going to push him off with that left arm a little bit. Maybe a hook also from Bynum's perspective.
2-point lead for Kentucky. Corey Floyd Jr. is in for Providence. They wanted to travel. That's not how the official saw it. Bynum has a high screen from Hopkins. Suffocating defense. Bynum can't get around top, and shot clock down to 5. Bynum gets it inside. Croswell gives it up. Bank shot, no, for Carter amongst the trees. Whip it ahead for Frederick. Toppin operating. On a lob for Shibwe. Turns, missed it off the rim. Livingston battles for it, stripped away, but Kentucky retains it. Ball fake by Reeves, lines it up. Off the rim, no. And it's rebounded by Hopkins. Hopkins looking to go end to end. Banks it home, and a foul. Bryce Hopkins doing it against his former team.
Yeah, and selective running for Providence, too. Not many opportunities as of yet. But when they get Kentucky, look at the Kentucky players in white shirts behind them. And a beautiful finish as he bounces to the floor. Go through, create the contact, and with the body he has at 6'7", 220, he's not afraid to mix it up.
Foul was called on C.J. Frederick. Hopkins has handled all of this very well. He's very competitive. Obviously, there's some close relationships that he made with Kentucky players, including the likes of Shibwe and Jacob Toppin. But the way that John Calipari described it, hey, look, we loved him as a kid, we loved him as a player. There just weren't enough minutes for him, so Hopkins recognized he had to take his talents elsewhere.
Kentucky fans are recognizing him also in a negative sort of way.
Clifton Moore checks back in, replacing Hopkins, and Providence has grabbed a 1-point lead. Adu Fierro, the freshman from Leetsdale, Pennsylvania, into the game for Kentucky. Quick move. Toppin twisting and turning for 2.
Boy, is that ever a difficult shot? First of all, he catches it in the middle of the paint against the zone, which makes sense because he can make decisions with it, but going flying to his left and squaring those shoulders up, very difficult for a righty.
Mentioned the Providence scoring. Highest mark they've had since the 09-10 season.
5 guys averaging 10 or more.
Moore misses it from long range. Rebounded by Croswell. Puts it down low, creates space, and lays it in.
Shibwe came out to defend a little bit, opened up some offensive opportunities.
Ed Croswell's a wide body, 6'8", 240, native of Philly. Toppin missed it, and a push. Shibwe was looking for the rebound. It's going to be called against the Friars. Croswell can't believe it, neither can Ed Cooley. And that's number 2 on Croswell. We got a timeout, 1-point game. First half action continues from the East region. Moments ago, Evan Washburn with Kentucky head coach John Calipari.
Well, Coach, in this style of game, what's going to create some separation?
Well, first of all, the way they're scrambling up the game, when we have a mismatch, we have to recognize it. But we've given them 3 breakout layups right now. You got to get open. You got to be strong with the ball. They're not going to call those fouls. We talked about it, so you know we're all right. I mean, I like the spirit of my team right now, but we got to have to play a little bit better.
I appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, Evan. Calipari told us with Providence, got to worry about them driving, getting downhill. They disrupt you, which we have seen so far. Kentucky working the offensive glass with Shibwe, so they've gotten some extra opportunities. But Providence outscoring them in the paint.
Shibwe with a quick 10 rebounds, 6 on the offensive glass. And to Calipari's point, if they're going to switch it up a little bit, they got to find their bigs versus the littles.
Lance Ware is in. Shibwe thought about it. Now in the hands of Fierro. Combo guard for Kentucky. He has seen more time as the season has gone on. A little more trust in him. Wallace, pull-up pop. Short. Rebound. Shibwe. They tossed it over to the other team, and it's Locke. Locke one-on-one with Frederick. Pull-up jumper is pure.
That's what Providence is very good at, Ian. When they push the basketball up, they can hit the mid-range jump shot off the dribble, and it's a variety of guys who can do it.
Toppin is 3 of 5 for Kentucky. The rest of the team is currently 1 of 10.
That's why there's been so many offensive boards for Oscar.
And a reach-in foul on Carter. He thought he got in there clean, but he'll pick up the personal, his first at the 10:57 mark. Well, Bryce Hopkins, last year for Kentucky, limited action. He averaged 6.5 minutes per game, just over 2 points per game. And Hopkins this season given a big role for Ed Cooley. When we asked Ed Cooley about him, he said, oh no, we recruited him. It came down to the wire, and we congratulated him when he went to Kentucky, but we also mentioned, hey, don't forget about us if something changes down the road, and it did.
A big-time season, 4th in the Big East in scoring.
Reeves keeps on firing, got a 3.
And second opportunities, they keep wearing you down on the offensive glass. Even though your percentages aren't good, if you're Kentucky, they just keep going to the glass, and they'll get those kickouts.
There's Hopkins one-on-one with Toppin. Carter out front. Over Livingston. Book it. A 3.
Just like a set shot just then for Carter out there.
It works for him.
Yeah, 31% on the season, but opens up the driving lanes also.
Livingston, hard drive, floats it up and in. Chris Livingston, strong physical wing, a McDonald's All-American from Akron, Ohio.
Little up and down, but he's been very effective.
16-15 Providence, just past the halfway point. Oh, what a step through. It goes in and out for Carter.
Just a little too much English on that. Beautiful move.
Get it ahead. Reeves loses his footing, and it's going to go the other way. Turnover, Kentucky. It's number 4 for Calipari's team.
This is the old accentuated step through. Nice stride, and look at all the spin on it, and all of a sudden gets plenty of rim to drop. And here comes Livingston at you. Getting another very friendly bounce, unlike the Friars down their end.
Providence up by 1, just past the midway point of this first half. Back in. Hopkins.
Oh, man.
He's crafty.
Boy, that's taking advantage of your size and strength.
Is that bully ball?
Yeah, what the heck?
Thanks for validating. 18-15 Providence.
Sure was.
It might have been more of a rhetorical question, but I'm glad you answered
it. I'm sitting right next to you.
You're a good teammate. Livingston puts it up and in. Chris Livingston having an impact.
Last 4 games averaging 5 points a game, but the 4 before that he was averaging 11, so he's gotten more active over that 8-game period of time looking to score.
He's bouncy and has good upper body strength. Providence is 7 of 11 on 2-point tries, 1 of 6 from 3-point range. Ball fake, Moore gives it up for Hopkins. Shot clock down to 6. To the post. Moore is fouled in the act by Collins. Damian Collins now in the game, so we saw Ware briefly. Collins getting a shot up front. 6'9", 210, the sophomore from Atlanta.
Yeah, and here he is. Just, you think he's going to hit a little 15-footer as he turns and pivots, but he continues to just pound to get to the glass. And that shot came with about 3 seconds on the shot clock. Just under 10% of the Friars' offensive possessions. The shot clock is at 4 or less. So, you know, they're a little like the Spurs in the NBA, the way they...
Oh, we've got a sitter!
Huh.
Nobody move.
Stay there, I'll go get it.
A tournament sitter, a rarity.
See that effort by official John Gaffney to go get that?
It goes around the world and then just sits on top.
We've been doing this a long time. How many have we seen of that in 25-ish years?
That might be my 2nd career sitter.
Really?
Yeah. Whew. That's hard to do.
That's a picture.
Can he do it again? No. He actually makes it.
Take him out.
1917 Providence. Mentioned Damian Collins. He's out of Atlanta, Texas. That's one where you got to double check your writing. You go, oh yeah, not the Atlanta that you and I know. They've definitely worked hard on the rims here today.
Yes.
That was an issue leveling on this end of the floor in game number 2. Toppin against the green. Puts it up and in.
He's made those 2 shots look very easy, and they're not easy shots at the pace he was moving at to be able to create and turn and readjust.
He is 4 of 6 from the field. 8 points. We're tied at 19. Hopkins, they don't send a second defender initially. Shibwe backs off.
Yeah, a little dig by Shibwe, but not much.
Back to Bynum. 7 to shoot.
Whoa, splits.
Bynum crosses. Nearly tipped home by Carter. But instead it's Kentucky on the move. Quarter pump. Reeves shooting practice. A rainbow triple for Antonio Reeves.
Can't believe how quickly Reeves ran the court just then. I thought he was going to have a breakaway layup. He couldn't get the angle, so what did he do? He flared to the corner. Great transition offense for Kentucky.
Kentucky has made its last 5 shots to take a 3-point lead.
There's that flex offense they like to run. Baseline screens, high screens at the elbow. He's trying to create something.
Carter, the pirouette, and the deuce. Devin Carter's dad, Anthony, played 13 years in the NBA. And you can see some signs of that activity and the confidence. Lacing it inside, Shibwe receives it and delivers with a deuce.
How about Toppin with that pass, too? It's a combination. You kind of whip it down low, and Shibwe is able to get down and gather it up.
He's got 10 boards to go along with 4 points. 24-21 Kentucky. Here's Moore on a handoff for Luck. Pull-up jump. Off. 2 bodies going towards the basketball for Kentucky, but Providence secures it. Luck lines it up. Off the rim, Shibwe. Rebound number 11.
Taking that one just by himself.
Reeves, too strong. And it's out of bounds. Tremendous first-round action here in the East region.
And watch this curl pass right around. A little bit of spin on it. He just gathers it up.
Moments ago, Evan with Providence head coach Ed Cooley.
Well, Coach, I understand Oscar Shibwe is a special talent, but how do you keep him from dominating this game on the glass?
Well, right now, our bigs are playing soft. They got 8 50-50 balls. 8 50-50 balls. It's not their primary offense hurting us. It's transition defense and our second opportunity. We got to limit them to 1. They're a great team, but we're not giving ourselves the best chance trying to clean it up 1 and done. We'll be okay. I like the way we're playing. We're missing some open shots. It's a long game. We got to get the 50-50 balls.
Coach, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, Evan, thank you. 9 offensive rebounds for Kentucky, 7 second chance points, and currently in front 24-21.
And a lot of those 50-50 balls are really gathered in when you anticipate better than the other team where the ball is going and where it's going to end up. And he's right. Kentucky's been about a half a step quicker, and it's made a big difference.
Jason Wallace will put it up top for Toppin. We approach 6 minutes to go in this first half. Highly competitive first-round matchup in the East region. Shibwe gathers against Croswell, playing with 2 fouls. Turns to the corner. Layup doesn't go. Poke to the outside, and Toppin. He will fire. Rims out on a 3-ball. And tapped over to Carter.
Croswell that time trying to keep Shibwe off the glass. Did a much better job with that deflection like you just mentioned.
Carter out front, hands to Bynum. 24-21 Kentucky. Corey Floyd looked to the inside instead. It's a high arcer from Carter, knocked to the outside, and Floyd, offensive rebound, Providence. Carter, swing. Hopkins, contact, it's an offensive foul, and it's Toppin who takes the hit.
Yeah, out of control. That's an out of control drive to the basket.
And that's number 2 on Hopkins.
So watch, he loses it a little bit, just runs him over. Toppin with terrific position. You can be moving a little as long as you're in legal guarding position on the defensive side.
This is the 4th all-time meeting between these 2 schools. Kentucky 3-0 against Providence. 2 on Hopkins, 2 on Croswell. So they're starting center and power forward.
I would get Hopkins out for sure. With the way he scores, they're going to need that in the second half.
Shibwe.
Oh,
It just died on the rim.
what's going on here with these rims?
26-21. Shibwe, the National Player of the Year last season. First team All-SEC this year and an All-American in back-to-back years. First consensus All-American for Kentucky in 2 straight years since Kenny Skywalker. Floated up. Croswell finishes. Beautiful setup by Allen Breed, the junior from Powder Springs, Georgia.
And had to have just a tiny bit of a delay before he delivered that pass. Oh, man, look,
Look out. Carter.
Watch it.
Oh! Special delivery. Corey Floyd going the finish.
And how about Carter getting to the lanes again to make that happen defensively?
Wallace, push shot, no. Shibwe, offensive rebound, sets himself. Couldn't bank it in. Another. Shibwe puts it down low. And this time Providence gets their hands on it. Possession arrow to Kentucky, so they will retain it. They flock to the ball after the Shibwe offensive board.
Well, the deflection here, I thought this was coming right for us, and gets it down in a hurry and then lifts it up 2-on-1. He drags that defender away from the middle of the paint. Right here to go across, there's no place to recover. What a delivery. Both sides. See, he has to remember down low that Croswell is in front of him, and he's got 2 fouls, so he's not going to foul him.
Reeves in a crowd. He hits the floater. Antonio Reeves has been a steadying presence for this Kentucky squad. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, more in now to Croswell to protect his 2 fouls. And Hopkins still out there.
Reed matched up with Wallace out front. We are under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Reed, drive and kick. Floyd puts it on the deck. Jumper, Hopkins, short on a 3-ball. Big time elevation there for Livingston with the rebound. Providence is 1 of 9 from 3-point territory. Pull up. Toppin can't convert. Rebound is dug out of there by Breed.
Kentucky is recognizing mismatches all over the court at the offensive end.
Providence is down by 3. Carter trying to shake off the defender.
Got to be careful driving.
Hopkins. Floater doesn't go. Rebound gathered. It's blocked. Moore couldn't get it in there with Shibwe lurking. Toppin to the rim. He banks it home.
Toppin has really started to become aggressive at the offensive end of the floor towards the latter part of this season. It's paying off dividends for Kentucky.
He's very springy. He's got a 45-inch vertical, and he's using it. Moore, post up, denied by Shibwe.
It's a scouting report block, understanding that little jump hook on the baseline side.
Toppin gives it up for Reeves.
There's a mismatch again right here with his size.
They're going to work through Toppin right now, very confident. The turnaround is short. Rebound knocked out of bounds. And last touch by Providence. Give credit to Cason Wallace for getting his nose in there. We get a timeout with 2:17 to go in this first half.
A really good pace. Here's that scouting report block I was talking about. Timed it perfectly, and then Toppin making things happen. Very active for Kentucky.
Game summary here in Greensboro, 30-25, Kentucky in front. Providence 1 of 9 from 3-point territory. 13 offensive rebounds for the Wildcats here in the first half. Reeves, that's an open look. Bottom.
That was a matchup defense too, and Providence was just really lost on it. No one had their assignments, just that one pass and one wide open shot.
Antonio Reeves is a shot maker from Chicago, scores in bunches for this Kentucky squad. He's got 11 now overall on 3 of 6 from downtown. Roll to the rim, and denial! Toppin! Comes Hopkins!
And Hopkins' hand, he's coming up holding his hand down the other end.
Reeves, oh, he's feeling it! Antonio Reeves is lethal! Right now, AT&T 5G takes us above the rim for one of the most impactful plays of the night.
And 2 Kentucky players in the vicinity, and Toppin going right at it to get a hand on it. And pushes the ball just a little further into the backboard so he couldn't dunk it.
Hopkins got some attention on the sideline. He hurt his hand on that play. 10-0 run right now for Kentucky. On a dump down, step in, Shibwe saves it.
Look at Shibwe run the floor.
Wallace to Shibwe, loses it. Out of bounds. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Yeah, guys, it's the left middle finger for Bryce Hopkins. He suffered a cut on the top of that finger where it meets the nail. He now has some black athletic tape on it. That was the extent of the treatment, but he was trying to work it out. Thankfully, I would imagine for him, it is his left hand, so his non-shooting hand.
Yep, athletic trainer Chris Hegeman was on top of it for Providence. 36-25, Kentucky in front. Bynum lines it up. Nails it. A 3-ball. Providence needed it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they did, and they need him to start playing a little bit better. Has been up and down as of late.
8-point lead for Kentucky. 42.6 on the clock. Wildcats retain it. Coming up, AT&T at the half scores. Highlights, the latest NCAA tournament news. It's all coming up. AT&T at the half. Now we'll get a timeout called by John Calipari. 36-28. Bynum shooting it at just 28% from deep. Knocks down that one. Our tournament summary. Pitt got the win over Iowa State. The only 9 through 16 seed to win a game today. Big East is undefeated, 4-0 in the tournament. SEC is 5-2 with Kentucky in action here against Providence. 35 seconds to go, first half. Toppin makes his move. No one stopping Toppin.
Nope, not at all. Very active.
12 points for Jacob Toppin.
Kentucky has a foul or 2 or 3 to give right now if they want. See how they play it out.
Half a second difference, shot clock to game clock winding down in this first half. 10-point lead for Kentucky. Hopkins matched up with Toppin. Bynum, ball's fake. Bynum stops on a dime, pulls it back, and nails it from the outside. As time expires, Bynum is on target with a triple.
Decide not to use that foul, and it just cost them three points from long range. And let's watch Toppin go to work as he has been this first half. All different variations going to the basket. And watch this little pullback shot here for Bynum. Stays with it the entire way and jams away with the 3.
Reeves put up 14. Toppin with 12. Kentucky in front of Providence, 38-31, end of the first half. We'll send it to AT&T at the half. After these messages, you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Let's check out the Ritz first half stats. Kentucky leading at 38-31. Shibwe by himself has 13 rebounds. Providence as a team has 13 rebounds. Second chance points in favor of Kentucky. Ian Eagle, Jim Spanarkel, Evan Washburn. A battle in that first half. And what we saw from Kentucky, they were taking advantage of the size they have and punishing Providence on the interior.
Yeah, and I know you love when I talk football, right? But the 13 offensive rebounds is almost like in football, time of possession. They were controlling it, making Providence play a little bit more time on the defensive end. Here's the slip cut for Toppin going to the basket, who had a very nice first half, and he delivers the favor back to Shibwe down low with a nice away from the defender bounce pass.
Providence with the basketball to start this second half. Jared Bynum hit that 3 at the end of the first half. Croswell, they leave him alone, and he misses from the outside. Rebounded by Wallace.
Leaving him alone and also allowing Shibwe to just kind of fill up the middle of the paint.
Toppin off the rim, and it's rebounded by Hopkins. Into the hands of Bynum. Just underway in the second half. Winner advances to the second round in the East region. And we'll meet the winner of Montana State, Kansas State coming up here on CBS. Carter didn't see it. Bynum steps in, lets it fly. That's Shibwe with a man's rebound on the inside.
Croswell went flying, not because of that, but he's 6'8", 240. Double teamed by 2 Kentucky players on the glass.
Shibwe now with 14 boards. He averages 13 per game. Shibwe on a handoff. Reeves.
Yeah, got to be careful going behind that screen just then. One that he usually makes.
Carter picked up by Livingston on the play. 90 seconds elapsed in this second half. Kentucky is 20-3 this season when allowing fewer than 75 points. They've held Providence to 31. Bynum. He's got Wallace. 6 to shoot. Hopkins pulls the trigger. overcooked it. Popped up in the air. And tracked down by Shibwe for rebound number 15.
It's not fair the way he can rebound. He's getting everything. He's pushing bodies around legally.
The transfer from West Virginia. He is a machine in that category.
Yeah, looking to toast him up occasionally, too.
Toppin's got the smaller Carter. Toppin rises up. And it's rebounded by Carter. Providence looking to run.
Yeah, the thing about that size advantage, but Carter's a terrific defender.
Carter angles in and draws the foul. He'll shoot a pair as we send it over to Evan.
Well, guys, Ed Cooley, as you would imagine, top of that halftime to-do list, rebounding. And he said, look, they're not going to call some of these things inside, so we have to adjust to the physicality. It feels like offensively, they're getting open shots. They just need to play with more confidence. As for John Calipari, he said, look, Providence stole 4 baskets off steals. That led to 8 points. Feels like they have to move better motion offensively, but overall, really happy with the effort from his guys.
Yeah, and he has to remember that this guy at the line, Carter, very, very good at passing lanes on the defensive side, looking for opportunities to steal balls and go the other way.
Personal foul on Toppin, his first. The rebounding numbers are 28-16 in favor of Kentucky.
And this is a Providence team that's very, very good rebounding, as you touched on in the first half, with like a +6 differential.
One of 5 Big East teams to make the tournament. We saw Xavier advance earlier here in Greensboro as they eked out a win against a very motivated and confident Kennesaw State team.
Yeah, struggled to the finish line, but got it done.
Toppin out high.
There's that post up.
Bounce it inside for Shibwe. Backs in, double team from Hopkins. Shibwe switches to the left hand, and Croswell holds his ground.
Yeah, that was good work. Little help by Hopkins made it more difficult.
Carter, kick, lock, got a 3.
When he gets it in rhythm, he can really go with it. 38% on the season, but he looks for it in the rhythm of their half-court sets, forcing Kentucky to call a timeout.
The Friars have cut it to 3 with just about 3 minutes gone by in this second half.
There's the double team, maybe a little grab on the wrist right there, but he comes up short, and they turn that mistake into a nice rhythm jumper. Pull it up and let it go.
For underestimated to undeniable, it's presented by Powerade. Let's take you back. 1987, Providence, a 6 seed, upsets #1 seed Georgetown. Rick Pitino, Billy Donovan, Delray Brooks. That was a fun Providence squad. Went to the Final Four for the 2nd time in school history. Other time was 1973. That's the last time that the Friars were in the Final Four. They trail Kentucky by 3 out of the timeout. Wallace gets to the rim for 2.
Little drag screen there by Shibwe keeps the defense is guessing on what he's going to do. Is he going to come up and set the screen strongly or not? Very nicely read by Reeves, though, floating to the basket.
Kentucky up by 5. Locke just made one. That one off the heel. Rebound taken away by Shibwe.
That was one that Croswell had a pretty good opportunity to get right there. Just understands positioning, and he never lets up on the rebound. Same type of set the other way.
Wallace, attack mode for the freshman.
So we've seen them go left, we've seen them go right just then in 2 consecutive sets. Same type of thing with the big screen pretending to be set and then vacating the area.
And just like that, the lead is back up to 7. Carter against Livingston. Now it's Bynum on the outside, watched by Toppin. Here's Locke operating with 2 defenders there. Swing it, shot clock winding down. Carter rims out on a 3-ball, and Shibwe squeezes it for rebound number 17.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Croswell gets 8 rebounds a game on average, and he is just being attacked on the glass by Shibwe.
Wallace drags the defender, short on the push shot, and Hopkins comes over to help with the board. Hopkins averages 8.5 rebounds per game. Stop and go. Hopkins, swing it to the outside and lock. Head and shoulder fake. Croswell.
Wow, pretty.
Nice move. Croswell with the fancy footwork.
Yeah, Sheboy, he guessed that he was going to drop that and go to the middle of the floor. A terrific read by Croswell.
8 points for the Philadelphia native. Transfer from LaSalle. Reeves swing. Toppin against Hopkins. Livingston lines it up.
Wow, bodies are flying.
Croswell got tossed down to the floor, and that's where a foul was called.
I think he got Sheboyed.
Ooh. That's an excellent description, Jimmy.
Watch this drop step. Here it comes, coming to the baseline. Bang. Beautifully done.
Well, last year Purdue fell to St. Peter's, got upset in the Sweet 16. Now it's FDU trying to get it done against the Boilermakers. Xavier Wheeler, he has been out since February the 4th. There was hope that he would play today for Kentucky. Originally it was an ankle, then a tailbone issue. He's missed the last 9 games, and it's going to be 10 in a row. Wheeler, prior to the game, John Calipari announcing that Wheeler was not 100%, and they were not going to insert him in the game on the sideline in uniform for Kentucky. Out of the timeout, Bynum. One-on-one with Livingston. On a post-up now, Croswell. And Sheboy, using the knee defensively, picks up his 3rd foul. In 3 weeks, CBS returns to Augusta National Golf Club for a tradition unlike any other. The Masters coming in April to CBS.
And interesting enough, Purdue matched up against St. Peter's University last year and lost to them. FDU in Teaneck, New Jersey is only 15-20 minutes away from St. Peter's in New Jersey.
So you're saying there's something going on in the state of New Jersey?
Something going on.
Sheboy was in disbelief after the 3rd foul call on him. Assistant coach Orlando Antigua having a chat with Sheboy, who heads to the bench at the 14-15 mark. Damian Collins is in for Kentucky. Carter switches hands, and he misses it on the floater.
Toppin got hit in the nose just then by Carter. Maybe some opportunities for some offensive glass for Friars down their end without Sheboy on the floor.
Kentucky up by 5. Wallace defended by Carter. Wallace makes his move. That's a clear shove. Carter knew he was beat, started to lean in to cut off the angle on Wallace, who will shoot a pair.
You notice how they're clearing that lane out. Ed Cooley's team has to do a better job of having some help. Here goes Toppin with the defensive rebound, and I think he gets swiped in the face.
Yep.
Yep.
That is the all-hair matchup of this region. You've got Toppin and Carter, who've been matched up against one another on a few occasions here tonight. Cason Wallace shooting it at 76% at the line, extends the Kentucky lead. Jacob Toppin, Ossining, New York native, has really come into his own in his senior year.
Violation.
There was a step in.
By Collins?
Yep, Damian Collins. He moseyed in.
Watch him on the right side. There you go. Trying to get a little head start.
Neither team has shot it well in the second half. Both are 2 of 8 from the field. Croswell, discard, splits defenders. He tried to pull a Sheboy with that offensive rebound, and it was last touched by Kentucky.
And went a long way across that lane just then to get that easier shot on the left side. Just shaking his head a bit because he knows he should have put that one in.
7 transfers on this Friars roster, including Croswell and Locke.
It's amazing how well they've all fit in.
Hopkins off the rim. Hopkins has not shot it well. 2 of 9 from the field. He's got 5 points, 4 rebounds.
2 opportunities, and defensively Kentucky clearing the glass.
Reeves vacates the area. Livingston swing for Toppin. Timer is down to 10. Wallace gives up his dribble. Shot clock down to 6. Livingston, the jump shot doesn't go. And the rebound, Croswell knocked out of his hands by Wallace, out of bounds. check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, we've talked about this is a loaded game for Bryce Hopkins, but it's not just playing Kentucky, guys. 365 days ago, he was on the Kentucky bench watching them lose to 15th seed St. Peter's. He didn't play a second in that game. He told me earlier this week that was rock bottom. Full circle now, back in the tournament, and he said this is the dream. He wanted to come, play, and make a difference in an NCAA tournament game.
And no doubt, a lot of pride. You're going against your former teammates.
Just turned it over there, and he's shooting 2 for 9, so not having a terrific game as of yet.
Yeah, right now Providence is just out of rhythm since we've come back from the halftime break. 12:24 to go in the second half. Jumper. Got it! Antonio Reeves with a downtown hit.
Just love the way he set himself up for the catch. That's one of the ways these guys are getting their shots off quicker and quicker. In terms of catching it about chest high, letting it release, you have to position your body before the catch.
Step back by Bynum, it's an air ball. Reeves the rebound. He leads all scorers with 17.
Yeah, not surprising on that fallback just then. Toppin has an advantage again. See if they can lob it to him.
Wallace for Toppin. Lob it, Collins. Tried to spin inside, Providence gets to the basketball, and a tie-up. Kentucky is going to retain possession with the arrow in their favor.
See the way he switches those feet, gets them as he's catching the ball so he can release it quickly.
And now it's time for Thrilling Drives, presented by Nissan.
Play the passing lane, get it and go. And a terrific job coming down the floor for this finish, 2-on-1, and there's no help on the right side of the floor. And Kentucky and John Calipari is starting to take advantage of that off the bounce. They're going to have to make a decision to leave a shooter in the corner and hedge, or just double team the drive.
It's been a long while for Kentucky. Yeah, the pandemic, missed the tournament in 2021. Off the miss by Reeves, another track down. They are just crushing Providence on the glass, and a foul called after Collins gathered. It is now 34-20. Rebounding in favor of the Wildcats. 14 offensive boards.
Yeah, and if you put up a shot and a soft shot, it just gives them more time to corral it. And there were 3 Kentucky players tracking that ball over to the left corner.
This is the Providence team that started the season 14-3. They were 6-0 in the Big East.
Looks like a double screen for Reeves. A delayed cut here. Look at him, number 12 coming around the corner.
Reeves couldn't break away from Carter. Collins steps in. And here's Toppin. Handoff, Livingston. The jumper doesn't go. Felt like a soft touch as Jaden Pierre was there defensively. Hopkins is fouled in the act. 2 free throws here for Bryce Hopkins. Follow Highlight Her for everything you need to see her do in sports and culture. Scan the QR code right now. Don't miss another moment. Hopkins to the free throw line. Just his second attempt. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 of 9 from the field.
And 77% from the line, but he's still holding that left hand a little bit. When he went up for that dunk, cut it a little bit.
Hopkins' parents, family, Clyde and Karen Hopkins. His dad played at Tennessee Tech. Sometimes it's just hard to watch. Not a whole lot of free throws in this game. Providence is 3 out of 6. Kentucky is 3 out of 5. You know, it's funny when coaches throw out numbers prior to the game. These coaches don't talk to one another. We talked to Calipari separately from Cooley when we asked about some keys to the game. Calipari said, we can't let them make 8 threes. And we asked Cooley, what are the keys? He goes, we need to make 8 threes. They've made 4 threes so far tonight.
Maybe they have been talking to one another.
Reeves denied on the inside by Carter. Out of bounds. Last touch by Kentucky.
Maybe an opportunity for Providence to make something happen right here. Squeezes Carter, as we've touched on. Can really D you up in a hurry. Out of position for a fraction of a second and recovers to make that block.
Last 4 minutes plus, no field goals for Providence. Pierre, the drive, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Kentucky with 10:39 left on the clock. Bryce Hopkins, he has been neutralized. 6 points, 5 rebounds. Sheboy, not big scoring numbers, but what he's doing on the glass, he's been a monster. 17 rebounds.
And wearing down the Friars in a lot of different ways.
He's been on the bench after picking up his 3rd foul. Pierre on a kick. Floyd, freshman to freshman. Hop step outside. Carter rims out on a 3 ball, and Reeves with a strong side board trying to fight through it, and a foul called.
And the reason he gets that foul called in his favor, because he was very active in trying to keep the ball away from the double team with the Friars. So he created that contact even though it's not an offensive foul. Watch the way he pivots away and tries to shake 2 defenders here as they close in. There's 1 pivot, 2 pivot, and then they come in for the 3rd pivot, just barely getting that elbow away from the face of the defender.
They got the foul on Carter. That's his 3rd. Carter goes for the steal. He averages just under 2 per game. C.J. Frederick in the game for Kentucky. We're going to hit the halfway point of this second half.
And Frederick, a shooter, but struggling with that rib injury that he has.
Toppin, swing. Frederick, shot clock down to 6. Kick it out. Reeves goes down, and it's going the other way.
Nice step across just then by Hopkins to help out on that double team.
That is the first foul on Antonio Reeves. Offensive foul with the fend-off.
Yeah, put that left arm right to his chest.
Kentucky 46, Providence 38. Friars fans getting vocal. Pierre using the high screen.
Pretty active defensively, though, with Kentucky with their length.
Hopkins, offensive foul. He lowered the shoulder, and he picks it up on the drive to the rim, and he knocked down Toppin in the process.
Maybe still pushing just a bit against his former team. Sometimes that happens, especially on a big stage.
That is number 3 on Hopkins. Providence is going to make a change with Croswell checking back in.
Yeah, you see Toppin's moving and trying to get in good defensive position, but I always look at that and say, who created the contact? Clearly, in my mind, Hopkins created that contact.
Sheboy returns for Kentucky. Frederick off the rim. Sheboy enters. Sheboy rebounds. Frederick. And skying for the board is Floyd.
Yeah, 2 good-looking shots. Nice catch. Oh, watch out, baby.
Croswell goes down hard. And he is in some pain. He and Frederick were going after it. Croswell landed awkwardly. Frederick checking on him.
Yep.
And Croswell will push himself up off the floor.
Just 2 guys going for the ball.
And Frederick is limping.
Yeah, I was going to say, he took a little shot on this also. Both of them go down.
Yeah, it was the left leg of Frederick.
He came down and kind of half split just then, didn't he?
And he's going to relace up that right sneaker. Croswell will stay in the game. We played over 10 minutes in the second half, Jim. Our cumulative score is 8-7 Kentucky.
And the pace we had in that first half was pretty good, wasn't it?
Getting after it.
They were really playing.
They're going to mop up that area, make sure there's no perspiration left over. Foul was called on Frederick. His 2nd.
Toppin on Hopkins on this matchup.
Carter. Wow. And he's blocked on the inside. Livingston there to lock him up.
Yeah, that was a force. He should have been passing that one.
And Livingston lost his shoe in the process, trying to get it back on. Right now it's 4-on-5. Sheboy, the overplay, and a turnover.
Had time to wait before they settled in with a 5-on-5 rather than going with the power play.
Early offense. Croswell, spin, attracts a crowd. Hopkins lost it. Just out of sorts.
Yeah, I don't know where he was going on that one.
Kentucky maintains an 8-point lead with 8:35 left. Second half. Wallace looks down low, couldn't get it to Sheboy. Plenty of time on the shot clock, and it's Reeves. Makes his move on Floyd. Toppin, very active, spin, short. Rebounded by Hopkins.
Toppin is interesting on the move, isn't he? He's going fast, he's making switches, he's making changes, and all of a sudden it's a soft little shot that he puts up.
He's just a whirlwind of activity.
Yes. Hard to defend. Now somebody grabbing in the middle there. I think it's Reeves.
It is. So Reeves will pick up his second foul. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. Toppin will get a rest. 8:05 left in regulation. So that is team foul number 7 against Kentucky. It's going to send Corey Floyd Jr., CJ, to the free throw line. His dad, Corey, played for the Friars in the early 90s. Corey was at UConn, transferred, and has seen some playing time out of Franklin, New Jersey, Roselle Catholic.
He's only shot 12 free throws this year, but he has made 11 of them until that shot.
All right, Jimmy, the announcer jinx for the analyst.
My bad.
No points in the last 4 minutes and change. And a foul called.
They don't even know the whistle was blown.
They were still going. Wallace and Floyd. Floyd was so locked in on the basketball, the play was over. That's number 2 on Floyd. And Croswell gets tied up with Livingston as the two teams were going to their respective benches. NCAA tournament there in Greensboro.
The official making the call.
It's getting spicy.
Wow.
All right, Nabil, the Kentucky Wildcats have the lead here, 38-31. Upsets, as we know, are part of the tournament every year. Kentucky fell victim last year. Right now, 46-38, excuse me, Kentucky in front with 7:45 to play in the second half.
Need a big stop here if you're Providence.
Livingston, swing, shot clock down to 3. Pull-up job, doesn't go for Wallace. And the rebound controlled by Croswell.
And kept Shibwe on his back that time. No spot for Oscar to go to get that offensive rebound.
The last field goal for Providence came at the 15:01 mark of the second half.
Yeah, the length of Kentucky is bothering him.
Locke rises up, cans it for 3. It's a 5-point game.
Love the elevation, too, on that shot coming around that curl.
Kentucky has now gone 5 minutes without a point. Lance Ware in for the Wildcats. Wallace was asking for it on the inside. Shibwe.
Oh, nice hands.
Knock away by Croswell and a turnover. Locke up the floor. 10 turnovers now for Kentucky. Locke bounces off the rim. It was on line, but missed it.
We were right looking over his right shoulder. I thought that was dead on.
46-41, Wildcats. Reeves couldn't hit the push shot, but he's there for the follow. Antonio Reeves working the baseline off the miss.
Yeah, almost a miss on the push shot, then another push shot along the baseline.
He's got 19 points. The experienced transfer from Illinois State. 16 offensive rebounds for Kentucky.
Providence just has to continue to push it a little harder in terms of their angles to the basket.
Hopkins is fouled by Ware, his former teammate. And Hopkins will head back to the free throw line. Over to Evan.
Guys, in that last huddle, Ed Cooley just trying to build the confidence of his teams, and he's speaking it into existence, guys. He says, we're going to get 3 threes here in this next segment. They've got 1. Again, this was something at halftime he mentioned, and then again in that huddle. It's about trusting the shot. That's the message he keeps giving these guys.
Ev, they are 5 of 19 from downtown. 6:06 to play in regulation.
And Cooley playing mind games with his own team, too. Trying to reinforce positive thoughts for them. Almost trying to get them to play carefree. Maybe this will help Hopkins, who's been struggling. 2 for 9 from the floor.
Reed sits. Carter replaces him. And now Ware to the Kentucky bench. Toppin is back in. 7 points, 6 rebounds for Bryce Hopkins, the sophomore from Oak Park, Illinois, Fenwick High. Same high school that produced former Duke standout Corey Maggette. His family watching on intently, trying to cut it to 5, and it rims out.
And I think those substitutions were built on the media timeout in 2 minutes. He figures let these guys play about 2 minutes, and then they'll get some rest for the rest of the game.
Providence is now 5 of 10 from the free throw line. We are under 6 minutes to play. Handed off to Reeves. He's been tremendous, and he goes right to the rim. Reeves known more as a jump shooter from the outside, but he has looked for some opportunities when they're there going to the basket.
But he's still going to his right iron. What are they going to make him go left and force him? Now, I know he can go left, but you got to play the odds that he's not as good going left as he is to his strong hand.
That's 21 points. He leads all scores. 50-42 Kentucky. Bynum on a stop and go. Nice dish. Croswell. Big finish. And a timeout called at the 5:21 mark.
Watch Bynum. It almost gives you the impression that he's getting ready to fall to the floor, but he slides that one in, and Croswell just finishes it off.
Our game summary, Kentucky in front by 6. Second half shooting, Providence is 4 of 16. Kentucky is 5 of 20. But the rebounding numbers, 41 of them for the Wildcats, and Oscar Tshiebwe individually has grabbed 21 boards. That is the most in an NCAA tournament game since 2000 for Kentucky. You got Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, and Tshiebwe himself on that list.
9 offensive rebounds tonight. Incredible. Had a bunch of them in the beginning of this game.
Providence isn't going away. Kentucky leads it by 6. Get it in.
Just barely got that in.
It was Toppin and his height as he tapped it over to Wallace. Half-court set. Wallace drives in. Blocking foul. Croswell was in the area for Providence. Wednesday on CBS, don't miss the action-packed new series that critics are calling an entertaining ride, enjoyable escapism, and pure merriment. Make a date with a new True Lies, Wednesday, 10 o'clock, 9 Central on CBS. It's number 3 on Croswell.
Yeah, he was just a split second late establishing that position on the defensive end.
That is 16 fouls, so the next one will put Kentucky at the free throw line for a 1-and-1. 5:10 on the clock here in the second half. Foul trouble. Tshiebwe with 3 for Kentucky. 3 players with 3 for Providence. Gotta get in there with that towel. Nicely done.
Yeah, when guys are on national TV, I wouldn't go that quickly. I would just take my time.
Oh, really? You would soak it in?
Why not?
Yeah, that gives me insight into how you view all this. Handed off for Wallace.
He's got to make good decisions with the ball right now, Wallace does.
He's matched up with Bynum. Now it's Reeves. He's had the hot hand tonight. Toppin, under 5 minutes to go. Reeves lets it fly. Off the heel, and Hopkins up high for the board. Leak out by Carter.
Pretty good balance, though, by Kentucky getting back on that shot.
Croswell.
Oh, beauty.
Inside for the flush. The discard of Tshiebwe. Big Ed Croswell.
And how about that delivery by Hopkins just then, too? Not the best angle up front to try to deliver it, but your guy who's catching the ball has to really go get it.
Coming down to the wire, Purdue and Fairleigh Dickinson. 12 seconds left over on TNT. FDU looking for the major upset. This is a 4-point game here in Greensboro. 50-46 Kentucky. Wallace with Bynum.
Nobody helping out.
Drives in. Missed it. Slammed down. Tshiebwe with a follow jam.
Yeah, it was a late help out. There was nobody in the lane to start for Providence. And once they drifted to the middle of the floor to try to help out, Tshiebwe read it perfectly.
8 points, 22 rebounds for Oscar Tshiebwe. Kentucky leads by 6. We are under 4 minutes to go.
Got to get the perimeter motion working for Providence a little better.
Shot clock is down to 4, down to 3. Carter has to hoist, fires, air ball, and a shot clock violation.
Oh, I think he ended up kicking Livingston a little bit on that shot.
And Livingston is asking the official, Pat Evans, why there was no call on that kick. Sheboy is controlling the glass. Kentucky's got the lead late. FDU, believe it. Whew, amazing. Last year, St. Peter's. This year, FDU.
And watch that right knee come across. Kind of hard to pick that one up from an official standpoint.
It was a play on.
Yeah.
So Kentucky takes over on the shot clock violation. They lead 52-46. 3:22 left in regulation. Toppin. Ball got knocked free by Hopkins, but he couldn't get it. Here's Wallace with 10 to shoot. Wallace, the drive, high, Archer, no, and it's rebounded by Bynum.
Good step across by Croswell just then.
It's a final. FDU has pulled off the upset against Purdue. The Knights are dancing into the second round. Sheboy, the steal, gives it up for Livingston, puts it up, no. Rebound, Sheboy, hooks it inside, Livingston lays it home.
How about Livingston getting back into play, too? Didn't stay away underneath, just reestablished himself. Sheboy with a beauty of a pass.
Second chance points, 18-2 Kentucky. Sheboy's got 22 rebounds. And now the lead is 8 with just over 2 minutes to go. Bynum on a handoff for Locke. Puts it on the deck. Drive and dish. From the corner, Carter. Wow. It bangs off the top of the backboard. Sheboy with his 23rd board. Carter, tight defense there on Wallace. Wallace gets around him, and now they'll just back it out with 2 minutes to go. There's Livingston now with 12 to shoot.
Really working the clock. Smart by Kentucky this possession.
Shot clock is down to 4. The jumper, side of the rim off. And Wallace missed it with a tie-up. Possession arrow belongs to Providence. 1:42 on the clock. Fairleigh Dickinson University has advanced. They will meet the winner of Memphis, Florida Atlantic in the East region. Just astounding.
Some early tournament action for the state of New Jersey with Princeton, huh?
Princeton advanced. FDU has moved on. Crossover. Bynum. Hard drive. Could not finish it. Rebounded by Toppin. That would have cut it to 6. Instead, Kentucky with possession. No need to shoot it. Reeves will.
Now you have to continue to go fast like the last possession. Just keep.
Carter ahead. Ball fake. Lay-in for Croswell with 1:15 on the clock. Kentucky holding on to a 6-point lead. Back in a moment. Now here's the Axe finest moment of the game.
So you get some action going to the basket, and it opens up a huge lane for Sheboy to finish it off. And as you just touched on, just a monster game on the glass. 11 offensive rebounds of his total 24 overall rebounds.
He wears number 34 for Hakeem Olajuwon, and he has certainly done the dream proud with his efforts on the glass tonight for Kentucky. They lead by 6, 1:15 to go. Providence is down to 1 timeout. Kentucky basketball, and Livingston to toss it in.
Ready with the step out. Well, watch out.
And a foul on Hopkins. He's going to help up his friend Jacob Toppin, who went down sprawling into that table along the sideline.
So he doesn't want to send them flying like that with that body hit. But he puts him to the line at a 65% shooter.
Kentucky is in the bonus.
Someone's computer may have gotten the brunt of that hit. Everybody appears to be okay, but Toppin heads to the line. 64% shooter. Older brother Obi with the New York Knicks, National Player of the Year for Dayton. The year that no tournament was played, Dayton thought they had a chance to win the whole thing. And now Jacob Toppin playing for this Kentucky squad on the verge of advancing to the second round. First points in the second half for Toppin.
2 real good step-up clutch shots just then.
He's got 14, just over a minute to play. Bynum fakes the handoff. He's blanketed there by Reeves. Jump shot, a 3 doesn't go for Locke. Offensive rebound for Carter. We are under a minute to go. Bynum launches, misses on a 3 ball. Toppin had it knocked out of his hands. And a foul is called underneath. Providence 5 of 23 from 3-point territory. And Jacob Toppin just needed a moment. His teammates were trying to help him up. He said, give me a second here.
Yeah, this is the shots that Providence had to put up, and he gets banged from the right side there with Croswell. I think there's a little knee on knee possibly there. Still walking slowly, hobbling a touch.
Toppin shakes it off, 14 points. Adds to the Kentucky lead. It's 9, 54.8 to go.
He just gets up there and shoots it, doesn't he? He gets the ball ready. There's that one bounce, same exact shot.
Yep, it's
4 in a row.
The routine is paying off right now for Jacob Toppin. Kentucky's up by double figures. 48 seconds left.
Just too slow here.
Bynum crosses, spins, waits, banks it home, and a foul. Shibwe rotated over to help. And now a chance at a 3-point play for Jared Bynum, with Providence down by 8.
See, he comes into the middle of the lane now, and he spins away from it. Shibwe's the touch late. Just clobbered him across the left side.
Bynum shoots it at 83%. He was the 6th man in his previous role with this Providence team. In fact, he was the 6th man of the year in the Big East 2022, and they won the regular season title. Starter this year, floor general. His team now down by 7. We'll get some substitutions here as Floyd checks in along with Pierre. It'll be Locke and Bynum to the bench. 40.9 on the clock.
This is a quick catch and double team opportunity. Oh, they got a good one going there, but they reached in from behind.
Reeves is a 78% shooter. It's going to be Floyd picking up the personal. And with 38.9 to go, Kentucky will head to the free throw line.
The offense-defense substitution by Ed Cooley that time.
So it's Bynum and Locke back in. Floyd and Pierre to the bench. Antonio Reeves, 21 points, his first free throws of the night. It's an 8-point cushion.
And Kentucky hasn't shot that many free throws, but they are making them. That's the key.
One out of 2, rebounded by Locke. 36 seconds to go. Locke crosses, pulls up, short, rebounded by Toppin. Providence tries to rip the ball away, and Toppin ends up on the floor after the foul is called. With 26.9 left, Toppin has been banged around all night. And we'll head to the free throw line.
Real good activity for Toppin, though. Here's that pull-up jumper. And he just kind of works his way into the middle of the floor and protects the basketball, waiting for the foul to be called. Good numbers for him, though. 6 of 14, 16 points, 6 rebounds. 6 rebounds not bad when you're competing against Oscar, isn't it?
You're competing against your own teammate.
Yeah, exactly.
26.9 on the clock. Tack on another for Jacob Toppin. In comes Damian Collins. John Calipari told us yesterday he was going to try to find some more minutes for him. Shibwe 24 rebounds. The team has 47. Vince Calipari waiting for this final 26.9. John's dad in attendance. And Kentucky can taste it. Bynum gives it up. Croswell lays it in. And a timeout taken by Ed Cooley with 18.4 on the clock. Kentucky trying to put the finishing touches on this first round game against Providence. 18.4 left here in regulation. This has been a rebounding clinic put on by Oscar Tshiebwe of the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah, first one he gets, then the second one he goes after again, and then just finds one in the lane on a missed free throw and figures out a way to get it off and finish it off with that.
Tshiebwe back in there. Hopkins, it's been a rough night for him, shooting 2 of 9. Tshiebwe, 8 points to go along with those 24 rebounds. The rest of the team has 23 rebounds for Kentucky.
Nice play defensively. Oh, he's out of bounds though.
On the sideline, Hopkins leaping to grab the ball, but out of bounds with 17.3. Call was made by KB Burdett.
I think he hit his head on that monitor there.
Oh boy. Hopkins appears to be okay. All that's going to change is where Kentucky triggers in. They'll now have it on the sideline as opposed to the baseline. And they'll go with a stack here. 17 seconds on the clock.
You got to go to the ball like you really want it. Wow, that's not where you put it.
Nope, Locke saves it, but it's grabbed by Wallace.
Have the foul.
Locke was trying to slap at the ball. 8 seconds. Down to 5 seconds, and a foul is called with 5.7 or a tie-up.
Is that a 10-second violation?
That's a great point. Originally, there were 18 seconds on the clock.
That's a 10-second violation.
It is.
Ed Cooley had it right over there on the Providence side.
Well, I think Kentucky just presumed that Providence is going to foul at some point. They were waiting and waiting.
And then when they didn't foul, thinking they were just going to let them run out the clock.
So they have to go back and figure out exactly when it was on the original trigger and subtract 10 seconds from that number.
Clock will be reset to 7.4
there you go.
seconds.
7.4. Providence down by 8 with possession. Carter gets it in for Bynum. They got to shoot it. Bynum does. Can't hit the 3. Rebounded by Tshiebwe, his 25th. And that's it. 1 year after being on the wrong end of a huge upset, Kentucky gets it done. The Wildcats defeat Providence, and they move on to the second round in the East region. 61-53. This is a Kentucky team that was ranked 4th to start the season. A lot of emotions for Bryce Hopkins, who just shared a moment with John Calipari, his former head coach. Hopkins had a fantastic year for the Providence Friars. But their NCAA tournament experience is over after 1 game. Kentucky moves on, awaiting the winner of Kansas State, Montana State, which is coming up here on CBS. Bryce Hopkins, John Calipari. When we talked to Cal about Hopkins, nothing but praise for his former forward, now with Providence. Over to Evan.
Coach, this game had a lot to it, a lot of intensity. What do you appreciate most about how your guys won it?
Made free throws at the end. Now, we missed about 5 straight jumpers that you got to make to win those kind of games. But we made the free throws down the stretch. And we fought like crazy. That's an aggressive team.
I know the standard's high, but Oscar's right behind you here. The impact he had on this game, how would you describe it?
He impacts every game. He's got he's got to play better defensively. He stops at times, and they catch the ball a foot from the basket. But when he fights early, he is really good. When he doesn't, but I'm loving coaching him for 2 years. It's been a ball.
Absolutely. Let's bring him in here. Oscar, coach is always coaching.
Absolutely.
A season-high 25 rebounds. What was your mentality heading into this game?
First of all, I just want to give all the glory to God, because today I struggled on offense, but I knew one thing they could not stop me was rebound. Rebound to give me more chance to my team. I just come in and fight. It was about a fight.
Congratulations. We'll see you next round.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Big smile on the face of Oscar Tshiebwe. A lot of joy in the way he plays the game. And the Kentucky Wildcats, they take care of business here today in Greensboro, North Carolina, to advance to the second round. Tournament games continue right now. TNT, TBS, True TV coming up here on CBS. Montana State versus Kansas State. We'll send it to our studio. Capital One Tournament Central is coming up after these messages. Kentucky back in the win column in the NCAA tournament.